All right, welcome to the Rezbt-S Podcast. My name is Rez Toledo. Welcome to the show. I don't want to do my pleasantries. I just want to really get into it right now. I'm in a new position of the same freaking table. And this is a show for the base Tagalog theory of everything. That's what the BT means. And I'm recording here now in my studio. If you don't know me yet, you could sit a while, stay a while, and listen. You could pretend like you know me, pretend like you're part of the show kind of thing, be a live audience, put this on a PIP mode, PIP mode, picture in picture mode somewhere. These are just suggestions for new podcast listeners and new podcast listener experiences. Sa Tagalog, hindi pa natin natatranslate ang pagtatagalog lang. Ang pagmamarketing pa lang ng podcasts so far is yung napapakinggan, yung nalalaman because a lot of us over here, even sa mga gwardiya ko naririnig, when they see me around, they know that I'm a content creator. And I've evolved actually from being a visual artist, a musician, to now sort of back to audio, kind of visual experiment again. I'm waving now at the other camera, but I'm using this camera for the main thing. Nagtatagalog po ako. Akala po ng marami dati na porket na naglalabas ako ng, naglalabas ako ng songs in English, songs in electronic. Of course, I'm highly trained in electronic music and even neoclassical techniques. Of course, sometimes I do want to continuously talk. I am actually monitoring other systems here right now because I am just independently learning of this technology, and it's not like it's a easy thing in terms of the technical stuff. Sa pagsasalita naman, what makes it easier for me is because I pretend like I'm actually talking to a lot of robots kind of thing. And if you find that funny, o kaya natatranslate mo na yan sa Tagalog, this being a tech show, a semi-linguistic show, bilingual kind of thing, or like parang podcast, yung tatawag na platform na pwede mo namang aminin talaga and just be honest, about things and a platform to express things. If you're a first time podcast listener and you've been shared this kind of content, one of the tenets really is just to figure out, where is the content creator making it from? What is the background he's coming from? Usually, explain naman niya kung may nakapatay siya, kung nakasuhan siya. Yung mga ganun bang banat na lagi namang ganun yung things that we can't let go. It has to be part of the burden of the. But I'm not like that. I've never killed anyone. I've never threatened anyone such that it became like a fiasco. My current sort of, I think my current track record is ultra clean actually. Ultra clean in the sense na I've been working in the tech industry for maybe kulang-kulang give or take 20 years now. And I say that because I'm 30, but like ever since 10 years old, I just had this mindset that I'm working for uh, a tech world. But hindi pa yun uso yung mga iPhones, hindi pa uso yung mga ganyan. And if you're like into mga podcasts, technology, audio, recording, engineering stuff, it's really the pinnacle. This kind of like show is really the pinnacle of that because like it's not like I'm nagbebenta ako ng mga telepono or nagbebenta ako ng mga kung ano-anong sasabi nilang modern music na tunog, tunog. You know what I mean? But like, it's really now that marami ng people are more aware. We're starting to hate on the woke establishment. We're starting to just keep ourselves in the stream, and use the technology to mitigate, medicate, and whatever. I'm really feeling a lot of whatever's right now. But what I'm trying to get at is really important that you should start to at least figure out uh, parang sasabi ko kung mas tatagalugin pa natin, Tagalog na nga, is like, bigyan na natin yung oras yung pakikinig, especially sa mga panahon ngayon. Yun lang ata yung pinaka sinasabi ko. Bigyan na natin yung magbigay na tayo ng oras ng sort of, hindi naman sa well, extreme listening if you are in the industry as well, if you are in the job, but more like magbigay tayo ng oras dun sa pag-aaral ng skill of listening because yung simple lang naman yung point ko na parang now that we're all sort of right now, to be honest, I have three screens in front of me. Kaya kitang-kita ko yung buhok ko. I have three screens in front of me. I'm monitoring a lot of I'm monitoring audio, video, two feeds of video, and I'm monitoring signals. But meters and measures aside, yung mga techie wizardry kunwari, if hindi mo pa naman naiintindihan yung kasimplehan nun, how the complexities of that and how that benefits you as a human being. Technicality aside, parang di ba pwede mo naman sabihin kasi medyo sobra na tayo sa kaka-scroll up. It's almost like kaka-scroll up natin, umikot na yung mga mata natin, tapos parang naman yung pakikinig, diba? Paano naman yung back to school kind of idea, and like it's one of the to be very now about it. Parang maraming tao sasabi nila teenagers sila, they're just looking around, they're just looking at their classmates, they're just parang kumbaga yun na yung reasoning ng mga tao na sino ba yung mga kaklase ko dito na pwede kong makausap na kasing ganda ko, kasing pangit ko. The boat is sinking basically. We have this feeling already. It's people I think are getting into the vibe na it's not a depressive comment, but like people are getting to the vibe that the boat is sinking. Group yourselves into what, right? So now you're thinking about types of things, types of people, types of ideas. Alam mo yun, sino ba yung makakausap mo? Sino ba yung may parang papakinggan mo para mapakinggan ka rin? And now, to be honest, I have to be apologetic about this because I am doing the Monologic series, and I recently made a statement na I do want to apologize if if I ever made you feel like it's your turn to talk to me or my show. No, it is. I'm trying to own up to my show and my theory and why this show even exists. Diba? And I'm smiling at the camera right now for the feed listeners, for the audio listeners. I'm trying to really do my best here, and like, sa sobrang sasabi ko na nahihirapan ako ng solid. I'm actually having fun doing this a lot now. I've gotten into the quickness of it, yung parang I'm already achieving, kumaga sa trabaho, mas efficient na ako, mas alam ko na yung ginagawa ko. Hindi na ako yung parang tatanga-tanga dun sa pagre-record ng ganito. And so what that happens lang is just mas gumagaling lang ako sa pagre-record. Or mas nare-record ko lang kung ano yung mas nasa isip ko, or nasa puso ko, or nasa hita ko, nasa tuhod ko. Whichever part of the content, wherever part of my body the content is, right? I mean, alluding to the fact that we all eat each other up now and there's cannibalism in the digital world as well. If you're not following with that, maybe you're too young for the way I express things and the way I refer to shadow figures, the way I refer to light things, and the way sort of I make it sort of easy for me. Like my dad and I were talking a lot about how to make things easier when presenting them, and it's just really you have to figure out sort of our history as Filipinos, our history as Chinoy. Maybe you believe a little bit on the reincarnation or being an old soul na parang baka isipin mo, inisip mo at the back of your head, I grew up with some friends thinking that they were freedom fighters stuff from Japan when they were yung parang past life doon nila geto ganyan. And then of course, if you're more on the empirical side, what if we were all monks from like an ancient Chinese tradition, right? Being that China produces more humans than we could think of, and actually their human philosophy is more evolved. It is an opportunity for me to give respect and to give kind of like an idea of parang creative freedom. That's one, creative freedom, and sharing knowledge, sharing experience, and sharing wisdom. The way I talk about it, the way I see it is really, if you don't want to listen to me, then that's totally up to you, diba? Parang if it's a matter of time, if it's a matter of decision making, if it's the matter of that's totally up to you. But if you can't resonate with my thoughts right now, or if you can't resonate with parang just a lot of things, like if you can't yet idealize this sort of content into your digital world. Maybe you have a weaker template for a digital world. You kind of want to keep it like bahay kubo style lang, parang squamine design lang yung holographic universe mo. That's totally acceptable. Ako minsan, when I'm in the workshop, I still kind of crave that kind of rough course feeling na talagang nararamdaman ko yung lupa or nararamdaman ko yung o kaya yung mga gusto niyong mga kababawan na parang laging bakal-bakal or like kengkoy-kengkoy, luma-luma. I understand all that stuff, and I've already said, I mean, just still on the disclaimer intro part, that it's not content creation. Hindi naman talaga tungkol sa mayaman or mahirap, parang I'm actually one of those guys who are outright saying that na parang even though I am creating content, a lot of people who create content, it's not a thing for them. Money's not a thing for them. It's not about the money. And then the rap culture naman sort of really idealizes, it's not about the money pala. It's not about the money pala. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it becomes a blah, blah, blah thing. Here, I'm trying to go for more specific, may pinupuntahan thing. I'm usually a lot more linear with my presentation. So it gets better as you listen more. Since I'm doing the monologic series, I'm doing like more than 90 minutes or 80 minutes of recording audio to really stretch out like a full, yung buong pag-iisip ko para sa araw na to of recording. For example, a lot of YouTubers, parang isang araw lang naman nila ginagawa yan. Tapos yung content na yan, i-edit na lang ng i-edit para kunwaring pinong katalinuhan daw yung ginagawa nila. Pagkagawa na nila yun, iba-blast nila ngayon. Parang dinadynamite fishing na lang ngayon yung mga audiences nila. And I'm just happy to not be part of that anymore because, I mean, it's not like I diss a lot on vloggers and I don't want to be friends with vloggers. I actually believe that a lot of vloggers are actually kind of smart. I've been very ang tawag sa ganito, very transparent on my show. I am a fan of Kong TV, especially nung mag-isa lang siya tapos yung kapatid pa lang niya nung dumami na sila, not so much na, 'di ba? But like I am a fan of those, and of course hindi rin naman sila mahirap. Alam mo yun, parang kumbaga what I'm saying is I'm not judgy that way, or I'm not for example, let me tell you this anecdote that I've always been thinking about because I came up from the band scene. In the band scene, isa yan sa mga pinaka naka-cancel na kultura yung talagang pag elitista ka, hindi ka papasok sa band scene Hindi ka matatanggap ng kung sino-sinong, kasi sa band scene, ayaw nila, alam mo yun, sa band scene or like if you listen to rock music at all, or just music in general, it's really music based and audio based. What all about, kung lahat ng tao, they're all about what you're all about, what you can express, how you sound like on stage, off stage, behind the scenes. If you are sharing a lot to a crowd, or that you have a mode where you are sharing a lot to a crowd, then that's what you're all about. And ang maganda lang dun is like the thing about that's great there is we are practicing the notion of not judging people by their covers, not judging them by stereotypical like visual cues. If they wear their hair long, if they're kulot, if they're short, pandak, kanyan. Of course, there is an angle there na signifies, genetics, or but I don't totally believe that kumbaga may kanya-kanyang talino lahat ng different types of people, lahat multiple types of people, iba. Okay, now that we know that, we can put that now aside, right? That's the style of a show. That's the style of Tagalog, actually, diba? You have to actually assume, and I've been saying this, if you're a content creator, if you wanna do like content instruction, if you wanna do instructional stuff, you kind of have to assume that who's listening to you, to give them respect, sort of parang hindi ka naman bobo diba? Tapos kagano yun. If you're listening, ba't mo ba pinipilit yung mga 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 ganyang what do you call this? Mga ganyang pananalita. It's because ganun ang nagsasabi ng maraming tao ngayon, 'di ba? Parang maraming tao ngayon, it's just like sabi niyo matatalino pala kayo eh. Matatalino pala kayo, 'di ba? Oh, so ano ba yung ginagawa ng mga matatalinong tao? Ano ba yung ginagawa nila on a daily basis? What are their habits? What are their... So pag-usapan natin, for example, ako nagkakape ako lagi. Kumakain ako ng brunch. I do intermittent fasting. Um, I don't... Right now, it's not very strict, but I am in a habit of not eating breakfast because I think a lot of artists are like that. They set aside the time of their days for just whimsical thinking, wishful thinking, and like, okay lang ako nagulo-gulo yung buhok ko. Smelling good with the clothes and like keeping the environment very productive, tanggal-tanggal ng clutter kunwari. I'm all about that too. I'm all about like but I'm not, I'm super young. I'm not all about like being perfect with my content as well. Hindi rin ako yung sobrang yung naglalaglag lagi ng references, hindi ko naman kailangan yun na totally live already na very well referenced. Kita mo naman yung nasa likod ko if you're on the feed. Very well referenced sort of idea of content creation or just creating or making things happen or making things, So what I'm trying to say really is like on ulit ng ulit is if this content is not for you or umabot ka na sa this point and you're thinking, is this really for me or not for me, or do I really get this person or may palagba ako sa person na to? And what I'm trying to say is like don't do that because you're just gonna be projecting your shit to me, but I don't really know you on a physical sense. I'm trying to know you as a digital friend. Of course, we're all doing that to each other now, right? The ethics of being digital friends with each other, having sort of when to know when to comment, when to know when to insert yourself is like a very student thing, and I appreciate that. Like ang sinasabi ko lang is really masanay tayo na in content creation, especially in audio-based podcasts, let's not confuse ourselves with what we see. What we see is may inaamin ng maraming tao, it's part of the biggest illusion, 'di ba? Parang and that's why a lot of podcasters, a lot of kung sino man yung nakikinig, pinapakinggan mo na right now, you have to sort of figure out kung ano talaga yung tinuturo nila. Kung ano talaga yung saan nila dinadala with their content, with their manipulation, with their and I didn't do I'm gonna skip the 3-2-1 kind of thing because that's just for just syncing audio after we edit stuff. But also for the psychology aware, maybe nurses, maybe doctors, maybe just people who read up a lot, diba? Parang that's kind of the sign for, with your consent, are you part of this experiment? Are you part of this movement? Are you part of this space? Because inevitably, if you parang, for the lack of a better word, succumb yourself to like the idea of taking in a whole podcast. It's still 3 hours or two. For multiple episodes of mine, it's still like 3 hours of your life. May mga nag-send sa akin na kinatutuwa ako naman. May last Christmas, may nag-send sa akin nung parang Spotify, reports nila as a listener, and one of you guys or one of the listeners we're very happy to feedback, giving the feedback of reporting that minarathon daw niya mga 10 episodes daw. Siguro may iniintindi siya about the base Tagalog theory of everything. So minarathon pala niya mga 10 episodes, and I'm like, I didn't exactly know how to react because I'm still new to the podcasting thing. Nowadays, I'm really just appreciative of that kinds of stuff because of course mas masaya for me pag mas may nakikinig sa ko and thing ko, and I'm outright asking for support. I'm outright asking for funding. I'm outright asking for emotional and like intellectual sort of, if you are also from an intellectual upbringing and you kind of want to suggest an input, hawakan mo lang muna, show me what you're gonna input. Hindi yung it's not like pwede mo namang isaksaks in a nice way, diba? And that's that's what I'm clarifying, pinapaliwanag and I'm clarifying in this type of content. Um, bukod sa I do sound a lot, I do sound narcissistic because like I'm only one guy in a room. And although ayoko naman magpalusot na hindi ako narcissistic, it's just I sometimes have to really get the vocabulary down. And this is great advice for people who are aspiring to be podcasters. And what you identify as, you really have to pin it down. Like, for example, if I'm now speaking as an artist, then ganito, ganyan. But I'm not speaking as an artist right now. I mean, I don't have the luxury right now of going about saying, artist ako. Because ang mangyayari, pag ginawa mo yun sa internet, they'll be like, oh, artist ka na pala eh. Yung pake ko sa'yo, diba? Artist ka na pala eh, di mag-isa ka dyan. Ganun pa naman yung kultura ng Filipinos, right? In the Filipino setting, how in 20 years na nirule tayo ng mga administration na ba, no? Who were the artists, man? Who were the cultural icons? Where are they? Are they speaking? Are they talking? Are they hiding somewhere? Are they Tagalog or are they Cebuano? We have no information on them because they totally canceled that culture. Now that we are like binabalik na natin yung kultura ng pagkikare about culture, inaaral na raw natin yung kultura ng iba kuno para may pagbangga-bangga natin sa kultura natin dito. It's not like that. It's not necessarily like that. You have to still go through the gates of like, and the gate is just what I mean by gate is like just the asking process. The asking process na, hey, I saw this data. I brought this data upon you. What can you say about this? This is my question. In Tagalog, marami akong naobserbahan. Ngayon, dadaling ko sa yung observation ko bilang datos. Pagka yung datos na nabigay ko sa'yo, dun ko palang makukuha yung ano ko, yung gusto ko talagang itanong. I'm doing the actions on the feed right now for the audio listeners, but it's actually sometimes also baliktad because like what something like JBP has been saying is like abstractification is up there and also down there, you know. But abstractification is also up there. You kind of really have the burden of figuring out what these all these abstract words really mean, abstract ideas, kalat-kalat na kung ano-anong bagay na pumapasok sa isip natin. How is this happening? Some people it's because we've entered the age of Aquarius. Sometimes people say na because knowledge is just really part of it and it's running and it's always bukas daw yung gripo. Ang problema, sabi nga ni Manny Pacquiao, problema yung iba hindi na pupuntahan nung hindi natatamaan nung tubig nung tulo nung gripo, yun yung example ni Manny Pacquiao eh. Oh, so pag naintindihan mo na yun, tapos nandito ka pala sa waterfalls yung gripo, your idealism of that should be like, oh, asan yung pansalok mo? Asan yung pansalok mo, di ba? Because abstract yan, hindi mo naman agad iinumin yan eh. Hindi mo naman agad ipoprocess yan. And even if you process it, if it's like water-like, to be like water, then it's like, you can only have so much of it, right? You can only have, especially if you're purely coming from a volume sense, diba? From a volume sense, it's like what do you call this? Diba ba? Edi yung buong volume yung kinukuha mo. You're not really taking you're not really taking in the what do you call that? Yung para bang yung you're not really taking in the full nutrients, yung vitamins nung laman nung medium. And if the medium is digital, isa pa yun. Eh, if hindi ka naman digital expert na gusto natuto ka lang sa tactile stuff, suntukan, threats, pain, kung sa ganun ka lang natuto, edi accept mo yun, di ba? Accept mo yun, and that's how you know where to sort of guide your learning. Ako naman, I'm literally learning more about social beings because I have isolated my being so much as an artist. And yung katumbas nun for me is like yung work of being, yung katumbas ng work na para bang, alam mo yun, kunyari, because everyone here in the Philippines, for example, especially mga probinsyano, they expect na, kunyari, pag gwapo ka, pag sinasabi mong magaling ka na, pag sinasabi mong may kaya ka na, ganyan, dapat para kang idol. So yung what idol is, ang idea lang naman nilang idol is a mayor, a governor. Ano ba naman yun? Ano ba naman yun sa mga katulad namin, diba? ano ba naman yung mga ganong politicking career? Which is just maybe part of like a oligarchy, maybe clan lang naman nila yung ganon. In our clan, wala namang masyadong politiko na. And my friends, wala rin namang masyadong politiko na sa sphere nila. And then we accept I mean, we accept a lot of different types of people, but like ang sinasabi ko lang dyan is like yung pinakamagandang para sa akin yung pinakamagandang way of discussing that is really, are you tired of politicking, or are you part of that system of patakbo? Kung part ka ng patakbo na yun, then all the more just galingan mo sa pag-publishing, galingan mo sa pangongontrata, diba? Kasi habang dumadami yung kontrata mo, of course, lumalaki rin yung force mo. And that's just from experience, it happens to me because now, especially because, I worked a lot, I trained a lot as a kid with my hands. Meaning, I could play the guitar, I could play the piano, and so forth and so forth. Not just that, I know the basics of, for example, sacred geometry. I know the basics of marking. Okay, from this to this part, it's gonna take 6 more units. A unit is one thing, right? So if you pile that up, if you pile 6 ones, it becomes 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. Pag pinagdikit mo, 6. Pag nagdikit mo 6, then okay na 'yon, naintindihan mo na 3 unit plus 3 unit pa ulit is 6. And some of you some of us actually really need that sort of reminder that 3 plus 3 is 6. The 3 plus 3 is like, it's never gonna be 0. It's never gonna be, maybe in some universe, right, where they like mahilig sila sa mali. But the fact that I'm saying that as like an example is not because patunay nga lang dun sa sinasabi ko nga na in the world today, if you actually remind someone of radical na kabobohan, then it's showing them actually respect, showing them, and it happens a lot in the way we discuss things, right? It happens a lot there because we are recording, alangan naman mag ulit-ulit ka ng ibang verses, or not be, or be like, to feel original, to feel like you're good, to feel like you're I can't just wrap off every bit with my original lyrics, because that would be like selling my own written stuff to the same medium ng hindi ko man lang ina-idealize na, hey, baka nagsasayang ako ng oras. Baka pwede naman ako mag-record ng mga mas magandang thoughts or mas magandang ways of expressing things. So now I'm expressing, right, paano ko ginagamit ng mas maayos yung oras ko, which is productivity. Paano ko ginagamit ng mas maayos yung resources na naibibigay sa akin ng mga gear ko. For example, if my gear were crops, then this laptop would be a puno, that laptop would be the ground, and this recorder right here would be like the kind of like yung pandilig or something. Okay, so now that we know that, ang sasabi ko lang is like, how then do we kind of how then do we sync up with that? Parang how do you sync up with people who are better farmers than you are? It's still through logic. It's still through, hindi mo naman sila bibiglain na parang, kilala mo ba si, kumaga, sa una talaga chamba-chamba lang, diba? Sa una talaga, kailangan mo i-drop yung drop mo muna yung burden mo. For example, my metaphor would be like meeting a good Samaritan on the road, and then you have this burden, and of course you have to kind of drop your own merchandise before you can actually talk to someone. If you want to actually talk to them, and magkasandalan kayo, sumandal kayo sa wall, and alam mo yun, and even the act of may kausap ka, sumasandal ka sa wall, or mahawak-hawak ka sa mga to, medyo nakaganon ka sa bars or mga ganyan. These are all signals of how the human body feels, to how the human psyche is experiencing, kung nahihirapan ba sila, or kung are they taking time to process things, are they taking time to, and you can't force that, because we can't force that to a lot of people, because not a lot of people are, ano, diba? Some people, makarinig lang sila ng magaling mag-English, and like, medyo gago magsalita, diba? Parang minsan tontuwa na sila, and parang minsan natatakot na agad sila. When the fact is, I mean, I'm like, I'm like a snowflake sometimes. If my girlfriend is hurt, then I'm also hurt, right? If my brother is hurt, then I'm gonna process that. And then bukas, sorry, pero bukas ko pa maintindihan kung bakit ka nasaktan, 'di ba? Today, baka hindi, 'di ba? Bukas ko pa malalaman kung sino yung talagang panalo sa argument. Because like, or if kanya nagkaroon ng argument, 'di ba? If you're listening to some content and there's an argument, it's not really today or right now that you can process something. Sometimes it's tomorrow, because mabagal yung brain mo eh. You're not that smart yet. You're not that your idea of being smart is just all up there, you know. Your idea of being knowledgeable is not yet on your gut. It's not yet sort of, parang hindi ka pa street smart, kumbaga. Hindi ka pa, konti pa lang yung natututunan mong moves, konti pa lang yung natututunan mong way of, and then way of living, and then there's an idea that you haven't taken in a lot of things. So parang maybe the expression of that, especially sa mga Gen Z, is like, you haven't tried this drug, you haven't tried this drug, or you haven't tried, or you think that this drug is bad, you know, or you think that this drug is stereotyped with these kinds of people who look kind of like this way, and sort of wear this. And I've been arguing for this a lot, because in terms of fighting the drug war, it's not like, you know, the drug war really from just watching Netflix. Pag-aala natin ng konti, hindi mo naman talaga malalaman kung ano yung drug war just from watching Narcos on Netflix. Just from watching documentaries. Even if the documentaries are showing how cocaine is coked, how cocaine is like, diba? Lagay mo na lang sa shabu eh. Kung nakikita mo, ilan ba sa inyo ang nakakita na talagang paano niluluto yung shabu? I haven't seen that. I mean, I haven't seen it personally, of course. But like, I'm sure in terms of advertising that, or in terms of bringing out the truth to that, I'm sure that you are knowledgeable enough to know that this is still being farmed from the natural, sort of environment they're in, 'di ba? Kasi doon naman talaga pag-uusapan 'yun, and not to sort of, hindi ko naman sa dinidikdik na merong kailangan pa ng disclaimer dito. It's just I'm pointing out to that mas marunong ba talaga yung matanda, o mas marami nang natututunan yung bata ngayon, and you know, we don't know the nature of wisdom anymore. And I'm sure to skip into that, to the work of it, to the meat of it, right? I'm just saying that we don't know the nature of wisdom more than your lolo, or your daddy, your mommy, ganyan. It's like sometimes you kind of have to get shocked by it. You kind of have to really study how these things are manifested in the world. They could be manifested into toddlers. They could be manifested into people who remember things. Diba? The thing is, and I'm gonna shift back to the base Tagalog theory back now, is the thing is, guys, kaya ako binibigay ilaw. Kaya ako pinofocus yung ilaw ko sa base Tagalog theory na iniisip ko ngayon, or pinag-uusapan ko sa sa content ko, is because the main postulate nga is that Tagalog sounds this way, and if Tagalog sounds this way, then we begin to officially sort of, as our tribal mind, our tribalistic instinct now, tatanggapin na natin ngayon yung biyaya ng English words. Na pag alam na natin yung sa abot ng mga kaya natin, alam na natin yung napakaraming English words, what then, ano ngayon yung ibig sabihin nito? What then, ibig sabihin nito is magkakaroon ng, to just spill the beans over here, to, alam mo yun, to, para may dilata, may halong dilata tayo sa show na to. Para may meron tayong padilata sa show na to. Yung padilata sa show na to is ngayon nakakatuto, nalalaman mo na pala yung ibig sabihin ng mga carbohydrates, mga sugar. Hindi naman ano yun eh. Hindi naman Tagalog yung words na yun eh. Diba? Hindi naman English yun. These are scientific. To be frank about it, to be just very, very frank about it, I'm saying that the Filipino, out of all these years, man, out of these 20 years that we just have been through, the Filipino, the Tagalog, all the other dialects that you were sort of experiencing as a kid and as an older adult, young adult, we've never really progressed with our scientific mind, with our scientific mindsets. And this is exactly the problem that one of the problem that I'm postulating now. Sorry, I'm just putting it out there. That is a big problem. That is a big problem because ano tayo, bahay kubo lang na naging konkreto lang. You know this parable or like let me slow down a bit. Alam niyo ba yung parable yung mga baboy na gumagawa ng bahay nila, diba? Okay. So may baboy A, ang gumawa siya ng bahay niya gamit yung mga sticks. Okay, tapos yung itong baboy naman na to, gumawa siya ng baboy niya. I guess yun na. That's just what I'm saying. In that picture then, if you are loading the same visuals in my head because you're a smart person, you know about other animals. In that picture, the bully is the wolf, right? And the wolf somehow can talk also and can also blow houses down, right? And that's just the Orwellian meaning George Orwell, diba? Orwellian way of explaining it. Sa Tagalog, tangina wala namang ang wolf mas mas tuso pa. Nagma-magic, nagsa-science, nag-hunt together, may pangil, kumakain, nakikikain. Lahat na, diba? And it's not that I'm triggered with that because like the lobo is kind of like just like that. And if we're gonna dream up the way of how real transhumanists speak, of how real transhumanists affect other people, if you want to be a real transhumanist, if you want your content to become real transhumanist, meaning yung buong tao na, or just trying to be the complete kind of being human, kung gusto mong mamatay ka ng ganun, don't you have to live a whole expanse of life, trying not to be a lobo, na you're trying your best not to become wolf-like, or not to be dog-like, or not to be like cat-like, or not to be rabid or animalistic, right? It's really kind of that's the whole point of being human. Why is that important in every is because man, pag nakakausap ka ng mga ibang kunyari nag-immigrate ka, pag nagpapaapi ka, OFW ka, nagpapaapi ka sa ibang bansa or sa mga ganyan, or diba, you have to kailangan mo ng vocabulary or ng content na mailalapag mo sa table, na may share mo na pwede po bang ito yung pag-usapan natin, kasi hindi ko pa po ito naiintindihan masyado. And even that, it's kind of annoying if I put it in that example. I'm just copying a Tagalog kid right there. Pero an English-speaking kid, an aware kid would cite an actual incident, or cite an actual screenshot. Man, we're in the digital age now. I mean, some of these guys, some of these girls and non-millennials are already growing up in literally a rapid sort of media mix of memes. I hope you get where I'm getting at with this if you're listening from afar. If you're the silent type listener. If you're the silent type, diba, how are you integrating this with what you know already? Diba, sabi mo silent fan ka eh. Bakit ka silent? Kasi marami ka rin alam. Asaan yung marami mong alam, diba? Pakita mo. ipakita mo kasi yan yung tinuro sa atin ng 2K Pinoyism. Ngayon, kung di ka na nag-identify with Pinoyism, ipakita mo pa rin at least sa sarili mo. 'Di ba? I, consider mo pa rin how much data you need to save and how much data you need to pile up to in order to figure out what you're really doing in your digital native life. Why do I say that? Why do I always say being a digital native is very important? Being a digital native is very important because you're surrounded by digital resources. Let's not fuck around anymore with like, papasok ka sa kahit anong establishment, your face is being recorded, 'di ba? Pasalamat ka na nga wala pa tayo sa China way of social grading, of social degradation na maging baterya na lang lahat ng na maging security units na lang lahat ng tao, na bawat galaw mo, bawat purchase mo, bawat sinong tao na is nire-record sa isang computer. Sobrang dami na nating computer, 'di ba? At the advent of quantum computing, they're saying, and what the science fiction is now saying, and we already know this, is that we can totally predict what you're gonna do in the future based on other realities that the computing power has already thought of or put in their system. And that just begs the question, how much of consciousness really can we upload? And diba, how much of human intelligence can we really upload and let other things process for us? Because that's a technology, that's a tech. I will let's put that down on layman's terms because I'm getting a lot of frack. I'm getting a lot of frack from I'm gonna get a lot of frack from people na sasabi nila, Rez, ang talino mo kasi masyado. Right? Lahat kayong matatalino dyan, magsama-sama kayo. 'Di ba? Na lang kayo dyan, magpare-pares kayong maglungga. 'Di ba? That's not, I'm not for that. I'm more for me speaking out, sort of shouting out even, so that my listener who's just shy, who's just kilig-kilig, who just kilig-kilig because naka-chat niya ako, they're like, just, oh, I kind of get what you're saying now. I cried last night because of what you did or what you said, but now I kind of get what you're saying now. You're trying to inspire me. Of course, I'm trying to inspire you. Diba? Of course, inspiration is not reserved for writers alone. It's not reserved for the intelligentsia. It's not reserved for people who are just studying. Of course, you can get inspired from anything. This is the work, diba? Ito yung tatawag na the works. Kung ngayon ka palang na-experience ng the works, I'm gonna put it down before babalikan ko yung uploading AI stuff, right? Babalikan ko yan. Before you can totally learn, you have to first, accept the inspiration, accept the sort of process na parang buong-buo mo nang sinasabi na, ay, oo nga, ito pala nga pala yung gusto ko dati. Aminin ko na, diba? Kasi ba niloloko ko, sarili ko lang. Ang galing ko talaga mangloko ng sarili ko. Wag na natin lokohin yung sarili natin because I'm being honest right here. I'm right here. I'm trying to record my thoughts. If you're in that level now of thinking about it and you're like in your head, what the fuck is this guy saying? Why do I have to go through all this? Is because it's just part of the expression, the shrubbery that we have to, imagine like you're in a dream and then you have an exit, you have an exit. Let's say you're a lucid dreamer and then you have this, I don't mean to be skipping a lot. I'll just repeat it, diba? If you're now a lucid dreamer, you're lucid even in your dreams, and you're lucid in your waking life, and even in your dreams, you're kind of lucid as well. You want to train yourself to put yourself in a situation you're realizing that, hey, I'm not supposed to be in this part of my subconscious kasi iniwan ko na to eh. Iniwan ko na tong part ng memories ko. I don't want to be dreaming and talking to these people anyway. I have already sort of in my mind canceled or not canceled. I'm not, if you're not connected with the characters in your dreams anymore, like settings in your dreams and they're recurring, with enough training, you can actually be lucid enough to kick in your subconscious into telling your dream state, or putting your dream state persona na sa disposition na ito yung gagawin natin tuwing ayaw mo na. Because this, you're leading yourself into a bad dream. But we're doing this process kasi sinabi mo na sa sarili mo ayaw mo na ng ganyan. This is the process, this is the exit clause, right? And whenever that happens to me in my dreams, I'm just gonna be honest. I came from a bad dream this morning, right? Not a bad hair day, just a bad dream, right? Which mababaliktad ko naman para sa araw ko ngayon, para sa work ko ngayon. But coming from that bad dream, I'm like, okay, now I understand why I came up with that sort of protocol to exit clause that part of the dream, because my dream state was already showing me that, hey, this is the stuff that you don't want anymore in your life. Natapos ka na dito. And I have trained myself as a lucid dreamer to put my persona in a disposition na this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. I'm not gonna say this. I can say the specifics, like for example, the theme will become all about lust, for example, and then surveillance. So that's my bale of it. If na-detect ko na biglang magiging all about lust and then magiging about surveillance, that's how I know that I'm already exiting that part of the portal, so to speak, that part of the dream. Okay, that's one technique. Let's go back now to sort of postulating an event or an idea of being able to get that lucid dreaming human technology, intellectual thing, and ma-apply yan sa the dream of working with robots, interfacing our brains with machines, researching the real sort of the new ways of uploading your consciousness, creating content, or being part of a time machine movement, so to speak. And a lot of people say that this is sci-fi. A lot of people say that wala to sa kultura natin, but maybe you just haven't read Rizal as much, or maybe you haven't understood what old Tagalogs really understood, right? And for you, if you're still struggling, again, back to the base Tagalog theory, if you're still struggling with why base Tagalogs are legit, why base Tagalog, or just Tagalog even, kung bakit ang pagtatagalog ay importante, you should really just not shut up. You should use your own dialect, your own English, your own way of pagtatagalog, your own research to sort of ma-connect the dots yung past. Pag na-connect the dots mo na yung past, yan, pak, 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 pak. Pak, 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 pak. Yan yung past mo Magko-connect yan. Di mapupunta ka lang dun sa contemporary time, sa modern times, right? If you're now in the modern times, what kind of gear are we using now to upload what we know, to upload what we think, to upload, so to speak, what we know of consciousness? Yung consciousness, yung sasabi nilang kamalayan, pag hindi natin iniisip yan, hindi tayo makakapag-usap nung talagang, yung mga matataas na bagay. Hindi rin natin hindi rin tayo magiging social beings. This is a giveaway. If you're not looking out for your son, if you're not looking out for the interests, common interests, and common, the world of your daughter, for example, the world of even your mother. No, lagay lang natin sa babae na trip. Kahit may, di ba, may trip mo, may nililigawan ka, ganyan. Kung di mo iniisip, di mo pinapakita na malay ka, meron kang capacity, propensity na i-question yung kamalayan na tinitirahan nyo or sinishare nyo together, yung consciousness na yun, it will not matter. If it doesn't matter, then you're lowered down to survival questions. Questions and like, my point is like, questioning and pag-iisip na puro lang survival lang, like kumain ka na ba, o ano gusto mo, chicken o roast duck, or o ano gusto mo ngayon, Japanese food o ano gusto mo ngayon, Japanese food o Chinese food, lagi na ganyan, cuisine, pandesal, like, kumain ka na ba, kumain na, alam mo yung mga ganung bang reklamo na parang, sige, close na tayo Tapos ang alam mo lang sabihin sa akin, kumain ka na ba? Parang ganun. Hindi man ako ganun eh, diba? Hindi naman ako ganun. Sabi ko nga, oh, ito, show my rice. Oh, show my rice now. Binigyan na kita ng pagkain, diba? Oh, ngayon, I mean, essentially, diba? Pinagana ko na yung utak mo, binigyan natin ng pagkain, tapos binigyan mo na ako ng, ginamit mo na yung pangalan ko or something, or like, sinabing pinakilala mo na ako sa magulang mo, which I really appreciate, because like I said, whenever I draw something, they show their parents. Whenever I draw something for kids, they show their parents. I don't know why that is, but now those kids have grown up and they're still showing me to their parents. So you as a kid, you have two choices. You either show it to other kids also. This is the way we share things here. Or show it to your parents. Or show it to your foster parents. I don't really mind. I've worked with a lot of orphans. Um, what I'm saying now is if you want to escape really that, if you kind of wanna, red pill na, parang, alam mo yun, medyo manhid ka na eh, diba? Medyo manhid ka na from these, you're desensitized now from these heavy contents. You kind of want to move into like, hey, what is the flow now? What, what's the newest high level information or just trying to be high, level information that we can get into. What's the new lead, bro? What's the idea now? Where are you at? Where are you at, right? So where I'm at right now is the training ba na questioning consciousness or formulating questions about consciousness that will help you evolve into what you want to be. If you want to be free, if you want to be janitor, if you want to be a good guard, if you want to be a good teacher, headmaster, if you want to escape your cult, these are all things that will eventually end up, I'm telling you, make other people listen to you because you are experiencing important ways to question consciousness. And that's sort of, if you're there now, you are getting now into the metaphysics of things. The metaphysics of things, the physical things referring to itself, right? I guess I'll just spend the couple minutes of this explaining that explaining that in layman's terms, like explaining that to non-musicians, non internet trolls, non-Twitter people, mga ganyan. Parang first off, you kind of want to have to share that discussion with someone. So if I'm making this discussion with you or like you have accepted na parang okay, alam ko na yan, Rez, lagi naman ako nakikinig sa'yo. Alam mo yun. I mean, alam ko na yan, bro, like, or like, hey, anyone, if you're watching this with your mom or something, di ba pag-uusapan nyo na yan, you can't, what I'm getting at is like you can't go psychic with that. No one is psychic like that, No one is like, oh, alam mo na. Oh, alam mo na. No one is automatically like that. Some people they're like, really, can you break this down for me? Alam mo yun, parang alam mo yun, I don't know how to express this, but like, can you just break this down for me a bit, Parang ano ba yung sinasabi mo na ganyan, mga pagtatanong. And that's what we all do as like long form expressionists, and part of the work is there. The thing is, you have to understand first the problem before you can present hypotheses, right? So the problem is you've been learning from vloggers, you've been learning from TikTok, you've been learning from Instagram, right? And these are just platforms for the same kind of people who know kind of. But the thing is, they're making money off trending things. If you understand that now, and you came from like an idea that oh nga no, why would people pay for higher education anyway? Why would but then that was before, and now why do people now really appreciate free education anyway? And now that's just a middle class or like I mean there's free education, there's extreme free education now, right? Everywhere. Like so why would you put a value on that? Why are we discussing that now? I'm discussing that, Because if you can't get to the problem, you won't have any hypotheses. Kung di mo i-pinpoint yung problema, kunyari may problema ako sa ganito eh. Problema ako sa hindi ako magaling sa sa plumbing kunyari. Hindi ako magaling sa mga lusot-lusot ng tubig, lusot-lusot ng paggawa ng mga or like woodworks for example, crafts for example. Hindi ako magaling sa ganyan eh. So sabihin mo na hindi ka magaling, that's a problem, but you kind of want to earn from it. You kind of want to make a living, diba? One, you pinpoint that, you get someone, you get a tutor, you get a ganyan who sort of makes you, triggers you up onto that point na maalala mo, diba? Kasi ganoon ka lang naman mag-isip eh, yung parang ginagamit mo lang ako, diba? Lahat naman tayo naggagamitan eh, mga users na tinatawag. Kunyari, ginagamit mo ako that way, ginagamit mo yung content ko that way, or ginagamit mo yung creators around you that way, right? You're just really faking it. You guys get what I mean? Like, for example, all these fakers are canceled except you and your teammate, right? If you're doing that now, you kind of also want to think about, ano man ang naabag mo dun sa, mo? Ano naman ang naambag mo dun sa audience mo? Hindi naman pwedeng 10 years kang social engineer. Actually, wala naman nakapag-aral sa atin ng social engineering. Diba? Let's not fucking kid ourselves. And the social engineers are elitists even, right? These elitist social engineers, they feel like they rule the world. They feel like they feel like they have status. But then nagbabago yung mundo eh. You haven't been adapting to the new social engineers. You haven't been adapting to the new ways of cultural politics. Diba? You can't even express it. So, habol ka lang. Habol ka lang. And kung habol na habol ka, pinangja-jogging mo na yung mga podcast ng matatalino. And then you're like, pagbugising ko bukas, gets ko na to, tangina. Diba? Ganun ka na nga competitive, for example. If you're there, then all I can say is you're on your way to the recording industry. You will have to find out. And inisip ko to on a personal level. I'm thinking about this because I'm assuming actually there's a lot of smart Tagalogs. The thing about smart Tagalogs and the thing about me when I was smart, when I was being a smarty pants is like, I figured out that, hey, I should be recording the fuck out of this stuff. Diba? If I have ideas, I should be recording them. Recording them for myself at first. Recording them, if I'm insecure, cut them up, put titles, and present them to people who might care about my vocabulary. And yung vocabulary ko, merong mga halong English. So, kakausapin ko muna yung mga English-speaking, English-speaking friends ko, diba? Eh, yung mga English-speaking friends ko, right? Diba? Probinsyano rin naman pala sila eh. Kahit pa Ateneo, Lasal, FEU, UP pa sila, probinsyano naman pala yung nasa mga kasama nila sa bahay nila. Tapos you figure out, putang ina, we're all in a loop. We are freaking stuck. And then you are, tapos ka pa, DDS ka pa, diba? And then mas lalo ka ng stuck. Lalo ka ng stuck. What you kind of, where you go from there is really skill. Skill on this, skill on that, because, the fight of your life that never comes to you anyway, that fight that you've been imagining that never comes to you anyway, I mean, it will still want to bite you back in, alam mo yung, what I'm saying here is, yung ka pa rin yan eh. Piperwisyoin ka pa rin yung iniisip mo na yan, yung nararamdaman mo, piperwisyoin ka pa rin yan. It's still gonna be a thorn on your rib. It's still gonna be like, alam mo yun, yung parang, akala mo whimsical lang. Yung, akala mo sa una lang, yung parang tumor, diba? Tumor. Kunyari may tumor ka sa, tenga. Kunyari, may tumor ka sa tenga. So, naalala ko to kasi naglilinis ako ng tenga, tapos parang kakalinis ko ng tenga kung sumasakit na yung tenga ko. So parang, man. I'm cleaning it because, I don't wanna, I'm just keeping it healthy, right? The ear hole. So, I'm cleaning it, right? Malinis na yung, yung container mo for a certain part of specific knowledge. Pag malinis na siya, dun mo pa lang talaga mailalagay yung clear vitamin of that, yung the clear, doon pala magsisettle yung pulp nun eh. right? And you see that with chemistry. You see that with ganyan, ganyan. So now, right? You feel like you're smarter every day. You feel like you are being boosted by certain types of people. You don't. For my tip for that is don't consider it as indulgences, right? Never act in a way that you are paying up for something that uh, you don't actually anymore believe in. For example, if you believe in the concept of heaven and hell. For example, you don't believe naman in heaven and hell, hindi naman sa believe eh. Wala ka naman dun eh. Nagtatrabaho ka lang, nag-ano ka lang. Nagpapalipas ka lang ng oras, di ba? Nakikinig ka lang talaga. Parang ginagamit mo lang naman yung mga bagay-bagay as a way of timing things and, alam mo naman na matatapos din naman yung ganito. Pag matatapos na, then it could mean you could do this or you have a pattern na after mo makinig ng podcast, maglalaro ka. After mo makinig ng podcast, magtatanim ka. Or habang nagtatanim ka, iniisip mo naman yung sasabihin mo sa podcast, diba? Or kung wala ka naman sa realm of podcasts is like isipin mo, kailan ba ako makakapasok diyan? Kailan ko ba tatargetin na makabilang na rin ako sa mga ganyang usapan kasi nare-realize ko na hanggang di ako nakakapagsalita ng ganyan, hindi naman talaga ako yumayaman. When, right? Kailan ko ba gagawin yan for myself? I don't know. I don't know with you. Ano ba? Like, I don't know with you. In fact, all I know is I'm coming back to my monologic series. Na even if I'm telling myself that I'm talking to myself, I am monologuing, I'm talking about the same things ulit, at the end of the day, there's these minor differences, minor degree functions, improvements that I've worked on. And the calculation is that if I do 40 of these episodes, these types of ideas, the calculation of mine is the reiteration of purpose of the theory. Na pag sa kakagawa ko nito, talagang ulit-ulit ng, alam mo yun, my base Tagalog bone speech, so to speak, the approximation of that will have sort of this dual nature material. Diba? Na pwede na siyang magkaroon ng negative side of base Tagalog and the positive side of base Tagalog, for example. I forgot to put my phone on silent. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean with scientific mind, or you get what I mean now how the scientific method works, right? If you're not in the science way of figuring things out. Kasi nga, yung dialect mo yung pinipilit mo. Kasi nga, pinipilit mo yung old movies na sa katwiran mo, porket nangyayari na sa'yo yung ganitong psychodrama, parehas ka na nin mo Nora Honor. Hindi yun ganon. Diba? Porket nangyayari na sa'yo yung ganitong paghihirap, parehas ka na ng mga Hudyo. Hindi nga yun ganon. Diba? Porket alam mo na yung mga references and articles of cancel culture, or if you're not there, if you're still in Metoism, I suggest you read some Ian Hacking. If you're still there, diba, at least i-record mo na lang, mag-zoom ka na lang muna with your cousins, pag-usapan nyo na muna yung, sino ba sa clan natin yung kayang pag-usapan yung ganito, diba? Dalhin nyo na sa ganun. Parang yun ang sinasabi ng mga base Tagalog. Or ganun muna ang pag-base Tagalog theory natin for today. Right? I think I could end with that, and I think I could focus now on. No, to be honest, I'm not writing a lot of things. I'm doing some systemal work. I'm doing the groups, the Rezbt-S Podcast Hub. Thanks so much for joining that. I'm doing, I'm showing I'm showing myself, to be honest, where I could go with the monologic series. Approximations lang, parang kumbaga sa pamimingwit, tinatali ko pa lang yung larga. Bago ko ilarga, ginaganon-ganon ko muna yung what do you call that? Yung fish line. Wala pa yung hook eh. Maybe I could see myself sort of in the fishing shop, rod, whatever. Okay, should I use this kind of hook, or should I use this kind of bit, Or should I use just the tried and tested bait, right? That's how I improve myself. That's how I sort of make myself. That's how I record. I actually do listen to my own podcasts. I actually, of course, inevitably, and also I ask a lot of people to share about it. I'm just looking at the timer there because I don't want to go really super intense. Baka kasi matrigger ko yung reserves ko. Tapos I go for like a full-on R pa. I don't want to do that. Um, I'm sharing now a lot to people what base Tagalog means because 6 months after, I'm realizing that some of my friends really dig that shit, man. Some of my some of you guys are actually using that as an escape, 'di ba? Yung kumbaga yung parang escapism na ito na pala yung ngayon eh. So now you feel kind of modern, you feel kind of updated. Wala naman sa akin yun kung ganun yung usage mo of that or you kind of feel psychic that way. You kind of feel like you're part of the in group or part of the smart people kuno, ganyan. Once na magsawa na tayo sa telling people that we're all smart, alam mo yun, it's all just gonna come back somewhere. It's all just gonna settle as something else or something more, even more familiar. And hindi naman sa pinipilit ko na alam ko yung talagang nangyayari. I don't know really sometimes, but I'm left with I could what I could be super honest about. And if I'm super honest about that, kung wala, o di wala. Like for today, diba? I have no worries, man. I have no worries. I can if I say that I'm able to put my trust into someone, put my trust into kahit wala pa sila, kahit nasan pa sila, I don't have to find them. Diba? Kahit location wise, right? If I'm missing someone, I don't really and I say I don't really care, then I don't really care. Sinabi ko na, I don't really care. Diba? If I apologize for sending mixed signals or telling people that I want to talk to them, but I really don't, then that's what I mean. No is no, right? It's not like, I'm not joking about the no, diba? The very purpose of, I think, having tones or laughing or not laughing is like to be able to figure out a way and to express and record things in a non-insecure way. A non-insecure way would be the most uh, easily penetratable substance that I could put into other people. As an artist, I've figured out that a lot of people are just blank canvases. Blanco, papel. Papel lang yung nila, minds nila. Ikaw, yung kunyari nakikinig ka, I'm kind of like that. I'm kind of dangerous that way that in my artist I'm in like full on just recordist mode right now, to be honest. But in my artist, if I'm trying to teach you as an artist, if you are trying to get insight from me as a accomplished sort of musician and sort of a recognized anak ng hokusai, so to speak, then if I were to teach you something, then yun nga, I'm closest to a graffiti artist, diba? That I have gotten to a point, even before making music, that people's minds are sometimes, if they're not filling it up with the right shit, that if you're not armoring your intellect, if you're not armoring your gut feel, people like me, to be honest, more people like me, stronger, foreign, alam mo yun, types, tusok, the cunning folk, the magicians, the tech wizards, these content creators, these strength, people with strength, and people in general with just power of, with people in general with just the power of, using their worth. Ang gagawin, their only defense to them is your line of questioning. Kaya nga importante na nagtatanong ka sa sarili mo, you keep a journal, you keep like what do you call that? You keep some to yourself. You ideally practice what you say you will, 'di ba? May sarili ka naman eh. Hindi naman porket pinagbigyan ka ng iba, dun ka na kikiling or dun ka na when the doors are closed, the doors are closed, man. If you've burned down bridges, then you burn the bridges. Don't swim to island back, right? Parang kaya nga kaya nga nag-build kayo ng wooden bridge para pag susunugin nyo na wala na talaga. Ganun 'yun. Some people fuck up. Some people are failures. I failed with some people. You have like you are expected to you expect yourself to be like kind of something else when you grow up 2 3 years from now. You kind of want to measure your progress. You're learning how to do that. If you're doing that now, and should you fail, ano yung sasalo sa'yo? That's kind of the thing that I kind of want to remember for myself right now. The monologic series is all about that. Keeping what is in you intact already. Kung ano yung sure shot structure of who I am. So that when I start doing dialogues, when I start doing, when I'm not practicing the narcissist, when I'm not seeing clearly who I am in my work state, in my dream state, in my idealized self, in my imagined state. Kung habang hindi ko nakikita clearly yon, there's a mode of me that's like safe mode. Okay, safe mode. Ito lang yung alam natin. Right? Ito lang naman talaga tayo. Ito lang yung pinaka-honest na kaya nating default way. Ito yung pagtitimpi para sa'yo. Ito yung way mo para sabihin sa sarili mo na okay ka lang. Okay lang naman ako eh. Okay lang naman ako. Wag na muna tayo mag-usap. Ha? Galit-galit muna tayo ha? Sa Tagalog, yun ang signal for ano eh. I'm not saying that and you could stem off from that of course. But kunyari yung galit-galit muna tayo, it means it could mean a lot of things. It could mean like to each his own. It means goods, right? Goods. And it could mean that I am already satisfied. I'm already full. Busog na. Right? I'm just gonna end with that, I guess. It's not really like, I'm really still trying to perfect, sorry, I'm still trying to go with the kumbaga yung pagsasagwan, yung mixing part of the long format. I know I do it extra long sometimes, or I do it ganyan. To be honest, I don't want to end it because there's still some more. Hindi pa ako pangit. I don't feel like I've expanded a lot of it. And maybe one of my listeners would be like, "Uy, wag muna. Sige pa, 'di ba? Gusto ko pa eh." Or like, wag muna. Make it, dun ka na. Hindi ka pa nga sobrang lumalalim, 'di ba? Parang sagad mo na, 'di ba? Pag nalalagay mo na dun sa sagad mo na, tapos kumaga sa dig, 'di ba? Pag sagad mo na muna yung pala, tapos pupush mo pa, 'di ba? Pagka-push mo na, nadiin mo na, kasama mo lang papaganahin. I kind of want to don't do this. I kind of want to don't. I'm not doing that right now. I'm just at the tip of it. Like, yung isa-serve ko muna yung, kumbaga yung konti-konti lang. Hindi naman laging pwedeng, sino-strong arm natin. I grew up very heavy-handed. Alala ko when I was being taught the piano, parang ang sa akin, mabigat yung kamay. Ang ibig sabihin ng mabigat yung kamay, meron kang tinatago talagang lakas. Hindi lahat ng tao malakas, hindi lahat ng tao mahinhin. We all learn, di ba? Nurture versus nature, right? We all learn how to do things on our own. And the best thing that I could tell you about that is, as long as you're practicing what you think you're saying, babalik ako dun. As long as you were practicing what you think you are saying to yourself, especially ako sinasabi ko sa sarili ko, sige, content ka na pala eh, konti na lang naman pala yung kailangan mo. Then how do you practice that? How do I integrate that with my own technology? If I'm developing my own lifestyle with this sort of format of recording, kung sinasabi ko, ikaw, studio guy, rat guy, marunong sa mga ganyan or like madaling kausap, masarap i-guest or like okay naman ka-interview or something. Kung ganyan ka na pala at sinasabi mo na yan sa sarili mo, how do you own up to it, right? How do you create a better way of sharing that? Yun yung pinoproblema ko ngayon to be honest, na it's not anymore my way, but how am I gonna adapt to to where the point of the writing system meets the ground. Kung saan nagbe-base dun 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 mismo. Kung saan siya lumalapat yung base dun mismo. Kasi yun yung ano ko alam ko from speaking it. Kung itatagalugin ko, ayun kita naman pala dyan, ayun lapat Diba yung sometimes logic is visual, right? Logic is not like, hindi ka naman matututo ng math kung hindi ka naman nagsusulat sa board Diba? Kailangan nagsusulat ka. Hindi ka naman tatalino kung talagang wala namang taong sinabi nilang tumalino sila kakakinig without applying. The application is really the best practice. Application is really sort of, hindi mo naman, maraming tao dyan, hindi nila, tinuturo nila kung ano-ano or sasabihin nila magaling sila sa ganito, papatawanin ka nila kunwari na ang galing mo magpatawa. Pero, the humor, the experience behind that is like not supported by their humor. And they end up creating more kids. Sino nag-aalaga ng more kids na yun? Sino nag-aalaga? Sino nagbabantay? Sino nagpapalago? Or they grow up kind of like, or are they gonna grow up like fish? Are they gonna grow up like, and sometimes I'm surprised with myself talking about this and questioning this. It's really yung pag-iisip ba na 20 years, 30 years? Because I'm just 30, man. When I'm 60, I kind of want to be on a place where I feel like when I'm 60, I have not failed myself and I could in turn really pass on to the next generation things that I've acquired in my life by then. You might be asking if you're listening, oh, why are you thinking of that now? Nah, I'm just thinking about that because I know how the human condition works. The human psyche as it ages, na kunyari matanda na talaga ako. Pag matanda na talaga ako, then all the more, I should make it easier for myself. I shouldn't be doing things now that would make it harder for me. Diba? Kunyari, ikaw na nakikinig ka dito or ako na nakikinig ako dito right now. If this is hard right now, you should totally just stop. Make it easy because, again, we're on a tech mode. If we're in the tech mode, it should be easy. It should be making your life easier, right? It should be making things worthwhile. Making yourself full-fledged social mathematical genius EPIS class. I'm doing it all over again. My name is Rez Toledo. Salamat sa pakikinig ng Rezbt-S Podcast. It's available also in audio format on Spotify. I'm working on a lot of, right now, behind the scenes with people who haven't tried podcasts, people who have yet to experience it, and people who have to sort of build build a vocabulary on what tools are being used for it. There's a camera, there's a mic, there's a monitoring system. Of course, you have to wear clothes on it. You have to have a bunch of lights if you want to have a camera. But in general, it just means long form. Long form meaning basta mahaba. Kahit umuulan pa yan, mahaba. Kunyari, speech on sad thoughts on emo thoughts on rainy water background ambient music. It's still considerable a podcast. Great ideas mixed with emo thoughts, for example. And if you do it for like an hour, it's still long form, di ba? Hindi man long form yung 20 minutes eh. Bakit 20 minutes ka lang magbigay? Eh mayaman ka na, di ba? Ba't ganun, di ba? Sabihin mo, may kulang ka pa rin. Or talagang nanti-trigger ka lang, 'di ba? Yung mga gano'n ba? Wag na kayo sa mga gano'n, 'di ba? Nanti-trigger lang, wala namang alam masyado sa do'n mo na malalaman bakit ka nakikinig sa full thought, eh. And how you could really trust a content creator, like the mode of the content creator. Ako naman tinatrust mo ako kasi minsan pangit ako, minsan talagang parang mukha lang ako loko-loko. I'm just like your tito. I'm just like your tito who's like always uses like, and you're secretly trying to learn English concepts with me. You're secretly trying to use my thing to impress your girlfriend and your boss. I get that. I've been there. I've done that. All right. My name is Rez Toledo, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. I do it Thursdays and Sundays. I try to be just really chill. I try to be just really natural about it. So, this is the way I present myself in my creative space, and I hope you could. To be honest, from the bottom of my heart, I'm really thankful for those of you who are staying a while or like really absorbing this, and I really love you guys for that. I really love myself also for that, and parang this feeling ba of, kumbaga, kunyari, yung ba niloloko kayo na best friend daw nila kayo, all I'm saying is I do have real best friends in my life. Wink, wink. And it from 1,000 people who you think know of who really I am. All I'm saying is you're much closer than you think you are, because podcasting, this space is welcome for everyone, for your brother, for your sister, for your dad, your mom. It's really, I'm trying to make it really family friendly, and if you trust me that way, it is really more family friendly kung nagmumura ka, diba? Parang kung nag-iisip ka tapos talagang inabot ka ng putang ina, sabihin mo naman talaga diba? Wag na tayo maglokohan, diba? Na yung mga talagang lahat ng parang presidente mag-isip, napapamura talaga pag inabot sila ng ganun. Hindi naman kita aabutin ng ganung, hindi naman din kita mababatukan kahit naman murahin ka pa, diba? Okay lang yun. No? Diba? Okay lang yun eh. Magkakaibigan naman tayo. And yeah, I am gonna continue the monologic series. Thank you so much, and see you guys in the next episode. Rezbt-S Podcast out.